Hi guys, Gavin from Gsport again. So look, this is just a video I wanted to take to show you guys Adrian's little Nissan Pao that it's been in here for a while. We did a full engine conversion along with some other custom parts, exhaust, and well, pretty much everything has been custom built in house on this car. So I'll take you over. It's sitting on the dyno at the minute. We'll do a dyno run at the end. But I'll show you around the car first so you can see the setup that we have here. So, excuse my handling of the camera. Also excuse the dull light in here. I'll see if I can put this light on because a couple of my lights in the dyno room have went out just recently there. So yeah, we have Adrian's Nissan Pao now. It's so you can see the car. I had never seen one of these cars until Adrian brought this into me. I didn't even know they existed. Apparently it's based on an older version Micra. That's what the chassis is based on, or something close to that anyway. I'm sure Adrian will correct me if I'm wrong there. So it originally had something like a 998, or basically a 1 litre automatic engine in it. And the reason for the conversion, the main reason for the conversion, is simply because it was virtually undrivable in today's modern standards. And you know, Adrian would tell me that when he was sitting on the motorway, he would be topping out at like 60 miles an hour or something like that, you know. So he wanted something a bit more fun. It's not about outright power, but it's more about the fun, the sort of the drive, the sound, everything else, hence the throttle bodies we have there and so on. So yeah, the full conversion's done from scratch. Adrian brought the car in, we got the engine ripped out. Now this engine here it's a Honda K20. Now it's the Honda Accord version of the K20, so it's not the full blown sort of Type R, you know, 200 horsepower engine. These made, I think, 155 from the factory. Now this one is now making around 170, which is decent, and it actually responds very well. I mean, I was expecting quite a tame sort of high cam for the VTEC, you know, was what you used to get in the old single cam, you know, D series engines and stuff like that. But this actually is a bit more impressive than that, so it's fairly good. So we've installed, of course, the engine's in. We did custom drive shafts. Let me see if we can just see one of those shafts in here. Yeah, and you can just see the collar there that was done. Some of you may have seen the video I did a bit earlier this year, so that's obviously a custom shaft in there. There was custom collars made and they were all welded up in the lathe. Again, all done in house. Universal radiator, obviously custom fitted. We had the Jenvey throttle bodies fitted in there. Custom wiring harness from the ECU Master ECU, which I'll show you shortly. Nice little fuse box we had put in there. It's, again, all custom wired in. Fuel pump and fuel filter there from Cytec. All nice stuff, and the car is performing really well. What else can we say about this? The exhaust. Now this is actually, that's the standard exhaust manifold there from the Accord, but the rest of the exhaust, which of course you're not going to be able to see from here, was custom fabricated in house. It's a 2.5 inch system, goes right back to a twin loop exhaust here. Let's see if we can see underneath here. So yeah, twin loop box there, and the rest of the system is all custom fabricated in house in Gsport. So, and the thing actually sounds really well with the throttle bodies and the twin loop. It's not overly loud. It sounds pretty nice. We have, I'm sure Adrian's going to get some doors at some point, but just for the minute we are running on an EMU Classic ECU. So that's all wired in, as I say, running, happy enough, tune the car up nicely. We will at some point put in a Plex dash, because of course the clocks in the car, they aren't doing anything at the minute. The Speedo is an old cable drive there. You can see the old Speedo cable there. Probably need to remove that actually. And basically the only thing that works in there is the fuel gauge, and that's about it. So everything else we're gonna run a Plex micro USDM and just sort of custom fit it into the dashboard. And it should be a nice little addition just to finish the car off. We can get all the ECU data from the car, and you can see my racing seat that I've installed there for tuning. So I'll just talk to you about this racing seat that's has a built-in rally intercom system there, custom install. It's a bit of a quick release install, so you can take it in and out when you want. And oh, it's a recliner as well, so that means you can get all your bitches in the back as well, which is handy. But I'm sure Adrian might change that. He'd probably put a real seat in there. So yeah, we'll get this thing on the dyno. I see the rain starting there, so you're probably struggling to hear me because it gets quite noisy in here when it starts to rain. So we'll get it on the dyno, and we'll get a little video done, and you should see that coming up just now. The dyno run done there. Obviously had the thing tuned and all before, so I knew what power it was making and everything else. So we'll get a look at the dyno graph here, and I'll just talk you through it. So sorry, let me zoom out here. So you can see at the top there, this is the flywheel horsepower. Sorry, up here we have 184 and 179 at the flywheel. Now we're making 140 and 140 at the wheels. Now the wheel horsepower is correct, of course. The flywheel horsepower is slightly inflated, and I think the reason for this is what I'm going to put it down to. I know it's inflated for a start. The reason being, if anybody's been up and I've sort of talked them through a dyno run, you'll know what I'm talking about. So if you take your zero line here, anything above this line is measured on acceleration. So that'll be this line up here is acceleration, and that is wheel horsepower. That's measured at the rollers. And when I let off the throttle, I put the clutch in, it comes down, and then freewheels back down to zero. So anything that's below the line here gets added on top of your peak horsepower here. And that basically gives you your flywheel horsepower. So it's actually measured as opposed to just some sort of fudge factor or something put in. Without getting into too much detail, there are varying sort of disputes on the best way to do this, but for me this is measured, and it is the best way to do this. Now the problem we have here, if you notice, this line should follow pretty much straight across in a straight line, and then go up. Well, not straight across, it'll be a slight gradient, but it should be virtually straight, because as you coast down, the losses become less and less and less. What we're getting here at the minute is quite a big loss here, and then you can see it sort of comes back up, and there's a bit of a wobbly area here and comes back up. So this is additional drag here, you know, at high RPM. Whenever I let off the throttle, we're getting some additional drag for some reason. Now what I'll put it down to is that the geometry on the wheels in this car have not been set up. I've done it by eye when the car's been up in the air on the dyno, just to try and get the wheels reasonably straight to get the thing tuned. So all the geometry needs to be set up again. And I'm actually, yeah, I can feel it. Just had my leg up against one of the tires there, and I can feel it was starting to heat up a bit just after 1 or 2 runs. So we are getting a bit of drag from the tires there. So realistically, this car is not making 184 or 180. It's making about 170, because we get our peak horsepower here. And if you take a vertical line down there, you can see that we're starting to get that extra bit of drag there. So if we take it straight across, take roughly about 10 horsepower off that, it's making safely 170 horsepower, which is a great little result for that K20 engine, which is 155 from the factory, and we've put throttle bodies and an exhaust on it and tuned it. So yeah, nice result. We get a nice flat torque curve there, decent lift from VTEC and that sort of thing. So happy enough with that, and I'm sure the car will go rightly on the road, being sub 1,000 kilo. So look, thanks for watching. Keep an eye out for more videos coming. I'll be trying to do a few more, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers, bye.